It's not so much how fast you row. It is more important to be on the right boat, right? So what's up, everyone? So let's get this going. So we wanted to provide some more information. We're in 2024. We've been in the lending space for over a decade. So we're not really teaching anything that we haven't done ourselves as business lending blueprint. My background is as a broker. So I want to make sure that you guys at least see the opportunity as it is, as raw as possible, because we want to empower your decision making. So you might be looking into a lot of different opportunities to generate more income. One opportunity could be just if you have a job, going back to your boss and asking for a raise, right? That's probably the easiest one. Or change your job. Not everyone needs to start a business. Maybe what you're doing is not that bad after all. Maybe you just want to, add some side income, or you want to start a side gig. Maybe you're more entrepreneurial and you want to generate revenue from different businesses. Maybe you want to add lending to what you're currently doing. I see a lot of mortgage broker, real estate people, accountants do that because they already have a business going on and they might be happy with it. But their customers, especially accountants, I hear that a lot. Their customers keep asking them if they can get funding through the accounting firm. So we set up a lot of those with the funding options. So whatever your reason is, I guess the easiest way for you to determine if this is a good opportunity for you is to close that knowledge gap, right? So you might see many things out there that would allow you to add more income and more resources to your arsenal. The question is, which one is the right fit? I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett. I call myself his indirect students. I haven't been coached by him directly, obviously, but I read almost anything that he puts out there, he's been putting out there. I have his big book, like a 2,000-page book of his letters to shareholders. One saying that I keep quoting from him is that it's not so much how fast you row, it is more important to be on the right boat, right? So a lot of you already work hard. So it's not about someone teaching you how to work harder. It is, are you rowing to the right or the right direction? Are you going the opposite direction looking for sunrise? That's more important in this day and age. There's just so much going on. And I know a lot of people talk about if you just work harder and if you just work smarter, you'll be fine. You'll make a lot of money. I don't know if that's necessarily true, right? If you're walking the wrong direction, running towards the wrong direction versus walking doesn't get you closer to your goals. It is to make sure that you have the right vehicle. So if you have the right vehicle, things become a lot easier because you're jump on board at the perfect time and the wave is rising all the ships either way. So you're a part of that wave. So a lot of entrepreneurship is obviously about working hard. There's no get rich quick scheme. You're not going to make money. You're not going to come across a money tree that you can just collect money from. You need to do some work. I think that's given in this day and age. I don't think anyone assumes that the money is going to fall on your lap. That's not going to happen. It's just, what do you do? How do you position yourself to be at the right place at the right time so you take advantage of that wave? I think in the alternative lending industry, we're going through that wave over and over again, and it's becoming like tsunami. And many people do not even know that it is there, and they get this confused with like bank lending, working for the banks or competing with the banks. Is none of those. So going back to the first question, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to hold this training. I don't want anything from you. Just wanted to join and chat with you, at least get some level of information from me directly to see if this even makes sense, right? So in this day and age, one of the things that you need to ensure is that the people you're getting the information from are the people who actually know what the heck they're talking about, right? Everything is so diluted nowadays. Like you check stuff out and now you're like second guessing yourself and whatnot. So our company is called Business Lending Blueprint. The way I started out, I used to be a door-to-door salesperson, commission only. I climbed the corporate ladder in a few years. This goes back to my early 20s, selling pretty much anything that I can sell, because when you're just making commissions only, you eat what you kill. Then I came across alternative lending industry, and somebody asked me to provide him some referrals of small businesses, which was what used to be my target audience. I used to sell stuff to small businesses. I gave him a few referrals, and I didn't understand anything he was saying. It went right up over my head. I didn't know anything about alternative lending or merchant cash advance, small business loans and SBAs, none of that, right? I said, sure, you seem to be a nice guy. You're telling me that if you can help my customers. I gave him a few leads. A few weeks later, he brought me a check of $4,000. Now that was the biggest check I've ever seen in my life, had my name on it. So that was a shockers. And then I chased that guy pretty much. I just kept following up with him to find out, learn more about this industry. But again, this goes back to over a decade ago. There's very limited to almost no information at all on this. So that I'm an intellectually curious person, so I just went after it. I wanted to learn anything that I could learn. I noticed that this alternative lending industry, selling loans, alternatives to the banks, I've been utilizing a lot of old tactics such as telemarketing, calling like 300 people, 500 people a day, doing direct mail and cold calling. I didn't like that. And I was into marketing. I was learning about marketing. I started applying what I know on marketing to generate leads online, and it took off. So as we started making a lot of money by doing like email marketing, by doing Facebook marketing, by doing LinkedIn groups and sending messages and doing meetup meetings. And so combining both online and offline meetings, it started skyrocketing. People wanted to learn from me how we do what we do. And I started taking other lending companies as our clients to help them with their marketing. It went to a certain place that I noticed that there are more opportunities than there are people who can provide it. There are only maybe less than 100 alternative lending companies, but there were millions of people who were looking for funding, and they had no idea there were other options than walking into your local branch and asking for money, or going to chase.com and applying for a credit card and hopefully you get approved. People had no idea how the whole system worked and how rigged it was against the small guys. If you're a mid-sized to large-sized business, if you're a dental office with 3 offices and 50 employees, obviously your funding options are a lot bigger. But if you're a deli around the corner and your fridge breaks and you need 10, 15, 20K, there's pretty much virtually no options for you to go through, right? Once I noticed this, it opened up my mind to a bigger reality. And I thought I need to find passionate people and train them from scratch on how this works. So it started out as like a small group training. It was actually one-on-one first. I would take on one client at a time, train them and put them through our process, and they would go out and start closing deals. And it became a small group thing, and it started taking off because smart people who want to learn about money saw the opportunity. They didn't want to go after the bright, shiny object. They wanted to stay close to the money, right? So that's why you don't see banks going out there and starting side businesses, because they're in the money business. They're constantly doing money-related businesses. And I think as a population, we need to be more aware of our options on how money works, how banking works, how credit works. I don't think many people understand it. The furthest that most people understand is, I need to have a good credit score. I need to repair my credit. But how do you switch sides? Instead of being the person who needs funding for your next business, how do you turn it into an opportunity where you benefit by helping people who need the funding? You solve their problem, but you also make money doing that. So that requires a different level of thinking. Many people, like we get this in our emails too. Some people reply back saying that, I don't want to be a business loan broker. I just want to get more money. My point is, but they're basically the same thing. Why not learn how to play the game? You can use it for yourself to get access to capital, but you can also turn it into a business opportunity where you can actually make money doing it. It's a bigger opportunity. It's like a lot of moments happen at that moment. Many people are busy trying to qualify for funding and capital without understanding the rules of the game. Rules are not written for a small guy to get access to capital. It is written for either the big companies save money on taxes, or they get access to credit or funding and all of that. So that's the main difference here, right? So once I noticed it, I wanted to open it up to more people. It gave birth to what we call right now Business Lending Blueprint. We train a few thousand people so far every day. This made us the largest training organization with the most number of success stories and results. Obviously, this is not a get rich quick scheme. You got to put into work. I know if you made the effort to be here on a Friday afternoon, you already know that, but we're not promising anyone who's going to walk in and make a lot of money immediately. I can guarantee you that our system works if you work. Simple as that. You got to be able to put in 1 to 2 hours a day for it to work, but it's a proven system. Many people go through life doing things on trial and error. So you try something, it doesn't work, you switch to the other thing, then that causes the bright, shiny object. Does that make sense? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through a couple of things. I'm going to start it out with what we call the BLB funding flowchart. So when someone joins BLB, we send them a physical flowchart, which is like a mind map. My team and I, we poured our minds into a mind map where it answers every funding related question that you would have, especially for a beginner. You start out, you're trying to understand what kind of funding options are available, who you can help, how you can help. So this is, I pulled a couple of charts, like this is the actual stuff that you receive in the mail, and I wanted to show it to you. So we call this the funding flowchart. So this is the person who needs capital in the United States. Again, there are 34 million businesses, and about 17,000 new businesses are founded every day. And then there are millions of people who say, I have a business idea. I wish I had $20,000. They need startup capital. They're not yet businesses, but they are looking for startup capital or 0% interest capital, right? So we put them in 3 different buckets. Let's assume for a second that you are a business loan broker. Who can you really help? The startup, you can help startups, right? Anyone startup is pre-revenue. Someone who wants to start a business, they have an idea and they need up to $150,000. So when I say startups, don't think of like Silicon Valley startups that they need venture capital money of tens of millions of dollars. This is like everyday your neighbor startup type of person, right? Your college buddy, someone who maybe owned their home, but they said that they're really good at baking and they wanted to open a bakery, and they need 30, 40, 50, up to 150K. And the qualifications for this is pretty straightforward: at least 680 credit score or at least $50,000 of income. Most people in that bucket, we can provide, like you as a business loan broker can provide funding. You learn how to do that. And obviously you might be on this boat yourself. So once you understand how that is done, you can do that. And you can also monetize it, which is one of the best ways to make money. Not only you solve your problem, you solve other people's problem. The second bucket is the biggest bucket that we have, which is the existing small business community. Again, these are any small business that you can think of right now: your barber and your hair salon, your trucking company, your software company, whatever company you can think of. There's so many different industries and niches. They need capital. So they need capital in a couple of different scenarios. One is emergency situation. They either messed up financially, that they need money. They know it's going to cost them, but they just need it for survival. That's one option. So you can help someone get capital in 1 to 2 days. They're not the most favorable options, but they're not in the most favorable situation. So it's not your fault. You can help them. The second is we call mid-tier funding. A lot more favorable options. It can go up to the payback time can go up to like 12 months to 2 years. You can help them. And a third option is long-term. It could be like government-based loans. It could be 10 years, 15 years. This pool is massive. And you get to choose over time what you want to focus on. Are you focusing on a specific industry because you've been a plumber for the past 20 years and you know the problems plumbers go through? Or maybe you lived in Long Island all your life and you know a lot of the small business community. You want to help them. So you kind of niche down. As the saying goes, there's riches and niches, right? But even if you don't, we tell a brand new business loan broker, don't worry about niching down. Just focus on making money within the first 30 days because you can solve all kinds of problems. This is your biggest pool here. So then you can, a lot of that can fall into place over time. Statistically speaking, our network stays as a generalist up to the point that they reach 20, 25K per month. They can go from 0 to 20, 25K per month being what we call a generalist. So you help startup funding, you help with equipment financing, you help with access to capital within 24 hours to 48 hours, like working capital or credit lines, whatever the customer needs. And you don't need to be an expert at it because we have the lending partners and the lenders who can help you with that. You might not even know what equipment leasing is. All you need to know is someone is buying some kind of equipment to get a job done. They can finance it. So you can help with that finance. If a trucking company wants to add 2 more trucks, you can finance it and the back end is done. Or you can, I'm going to walk you through different options of doing this. So that's the second bucket. Third bucket is the real estate. I want to make a clear differentiation here. We don't help people buy their primary residence. That's a realtor's, real estate agent's job. That requires licensing. What we're helping is people who are even a better audience. These are real estate investors. So they buy fix and flip properties. They want to build construction from ground up, or they want to buy multi-family properties. We call it buy and hold. They buy a 4-unit apartment and they rent it. They want to hold on to it for as long as they want. So why do they need us? Why wouldn't they go to a real estate lender or a bank? Problem is, these people, they're not first-time home buyers. They're not going to buy a home and stay there for 7 years, 10 years. The way they make money is on the repetition. So a fix and flip company, they want to buy as many properties as possible. If they flip 3 properties per year versus 1 property, obviously they triple their income for the most part, right? But then this is where it gets kind of sticky because banks, their risk criteria is so high, they get flagged immediately. I experienced this myself. So we were buying rental properties, this is years ago, back to back to back. After the third one, the bankers that I knew that approved me for the first 3 were like, no, you're too risky right now. I'm like, how am I too risky? I didn't miss any payment. I put 20% down. I'm just buying it. And you can see that it's a healthy portfolio. They're like, yes, it's not up to me. It's just, you're moving too fast and we can't really do that. I'm like, holy cow. So you legitimately have no reason. It's just, you can't approve me. Every real estate investor goes through that phase. So what they need is real estate, like wholesale lenders, people who can lend money to these people. And these deals are larger. They're very lucrative. We have people who are making 10, 15, up to $200,000 per deal because the size of the deal can go from a few $100,000, because don't forget they are buying or investing into real estate, as high as $200-300 million. Now, obviously, the amount of money you as a broker make proportionally changes when you're dealing with those opportunities. So that's what BLB does pretty much. We teach you these 3 buckets of lending opportunities. Each bucket has a few different lending options. I'm not going to go into all the lending options. We have a very comprehensive training on who the lenders are. How do you learn each one of them? How do you get that funded when you're in the blueprint? I just wanted to, again, today's goal is to give you a comprehensive fundamental training on how this works, so you can in your mind maybe visualize, oh, this is a great vehicle for me to go from this to this. For example, making from 5,000 to 25,000. Maybe you're already making 10, 15K, but you're looking for retirement nest egg. Maybe you're looking for something that you can build and sell and pass it down to generations. That's the next thing that I want to talk to you about. But I really like the saying, as from Aristotle, it is possible to fail in many ways, while to succeed is possible only in one way. The point of this is, yeah, you can be doing so many things. I just don't want valuable time wasted on trial and error, right? So the reason we have 3 buckets, not 15 buckets, is because we've done the trial and error. And there's so many products in lending industry. These are not only the most lucrative ones for you as a broker, but they're the ones that are most demanded by the businesses. It's a happy medium. So at the end of our meeting today, you can decide to go out and do this on your own. Kudos to you. There's nothing wrong with that, but just know that it's going to cost you more time and resources to figure it all out. Not because you lack anything other than the critical information, like you're smart enough to do this, you probably get it. It's just, it comes back to the saying that to do the right thing, there's only a very few possible ways to do it the right way. Okay. So in BLB, we created this, what's called, I know it's kind of corny, but your treasure map to success, right? You start out and you choose your journey. What we mean by that is you decide how you want to get these deals funded. I'm going to walk you through what that step 1 looks like. Step 2, you choose your channel, because you need to determine a channel on where you can get the leads from. That's very important. Leads are the lifeblood of every business, right? Many people think they have a leads problem. They don't really have a leads problem. They have a problem with understanding what leads are. Maybe they had that problem in the past and they think it carries over to this industry. It really doesn't. Third is assembling the machine, because we provide you a customized system that is owned by you. Then you take action, because yeah, you can get all of this done in like one day. But if you're not taking action, and if you feel like you're lazy or your why is not clear, because I don't believe people are innately lazy. It's just they don't have clearly defined goals and they don't have a reason to go after it. If you're slightly comfortable, you're not going to go after your goals, right? And you might complain about your situation, but does it hurt enough? It reminds me of the story. I tell this in my live events. There's this house, and on the porch, the grandpa and the grandson, they're just chit-chatting and they're talking, but they keep getting interrupted by the dog, who keeps whining. The dog is laying on the porch. The dog keeps crying and whining and whining and whining. It gets to a point that they can't even communicate. And the grandson turns to grandpa and says, "Hey, why is the dog crying, grandpa?" Grandpa says, "Well, the dog is sitting on a nail." "But why is he not moving?" "Because it's not hurting enough." So that's the situation with most people. We complain about stuff that we're not happy with, but it's not, I guess, hurting enough for us to take action. And I just want you to be very cautious of this, because you have this element of time that flies. Like before you know, like I can't believe I'm in the alternative lending industry for over 10 years. It feels like yesterday, but that's just what time does, right? So we have a wrong perception of time. Our brain doesn't really calculate it. If I ask you what you ate 5 years ago today, most likely, unless it's a very traumatic or very special event, you'll have no idea. But you lived through that. You just don't remember it, right? So keeping that in mind, that taking action is the most important part. Okay, what's called the broker success journey. We have 3 types of people who come to us for training, and some of these abbreviations you might be familiar with. We have people who are not really interested in becoming a business loan broker. They're not really interested in understanding how money works, funding works. Maybe they have very limited time. They just want to make some additional income, maybe side gig. Maybe they want to be an affiliate. We don't really have an affiliate program. But done for you is we have lending partners. They employ anywhere from 50 people to 150 people. And their job is to take the contact that you provide to them and call the contact, follow up, get the application, get the documentation collected, fund the deal, and then you get paid a percentage of that. 90 to 95% of the work is done by them. We call that done for you, right? So that's your choice based on what you have going on in your life. Maybe you still want to be a business loan broker. We give you the entire system, the website, the funnel, and all of that. But maybe you don't like talking to people. Maybe you have no sales experience, so you're not willing to learn consultative sales, because we don't really need to do hard sales when you're selling money, because money is the sexiest product on earth. I mean, if someone is a simple sales process, do you want money or not? Yes. Okay. Well, here's how we can do this. I can help you get access to capital if you provide me a few pieces of information. How soon do you need this? Oh, I need this in 2 months. What are you going to use it for? I'm going to use it for marketing. We're going to start a marketing campaign. Tried one in the past. Really gave us a good ROI. How much is it going to cost? $25,000. So you need $25,000. Yes. How soon do you need it? I need it in two weeks or so. So what have you done to receive the funds so far? Not much. Or I asked my uncle. He said it's too much. I talked to my bank and they said the process is going to take 6 weeks. I don't want to do that. Or they applied and they couldn't get it. Okay. Well, here's how we can work with you. There's a high possibility that we can help you with that. I need this 1-page application and 3 months of business bank statements, right? That's how it starts. So you might like doing that, or you might be totally against it for whatever reason. I'm not judging. It is what it is, right? So if that's you, then you go through the done for you option. So you bring the person who wants money, raise their hand and they say, I want money. We show you how to do that, how to get those people. So you send it over to them. They do the done for you. The second group of people is we call it done with you. They want to understand the business, but they thrive when they get mentorship. They want to shadow somebody. They want to form partnerships. So over time, since we've been doing this for a couple of years, we have been creating our own superstars. We have people, what we call BLB experts, who started out just like you. A lot of them started from zero. Right now, they're at a point of generating 40, 50, 60K per month. And they partner with other BLB members to fund deals. So this one is different than done for you. You're still involved with the process, right? You're working because you want to learn the business. And then you seek expertise from the expert, BLB expert, because this person helps you find the right lender, helps you talk the customer through it and fund the deal. And at the end, whatever commission is generated, you are splitting that based on a certain percentage. It depends on your involvement. If you're involved, you can make up to 50, 60, 70% of the total commission. That's the second group of people. Third one is do it yourself. These are the people who truly want to be 100% business loan brokers. They want to find the customer. They want to gather the documentation through the simple script that I just gave you a couple of minutes ago. Take it to the lenders, decide on what lender they're going to work with, and then get the offer, bring it to the customer, talk to the customer about it. And this is a lot less complicated than selling mortgages, insurance, and homes, like home loans. If you've done any one of those, this is a breeze for you, right? Or if you sold cars before, because we don't really have this high pressure sales at the end because of the product that you're selling. So do it yourself. Obviously, you're keeping 100% of every penny because there's no middle guy involved. So as far as I know, we're the only company that gives you. A lot of the companies, they have the done for you option, but you're kind of like an affiliate for them. You're using their websites, you're submitting leads to them, and you're going off of what they tell you is funded or not. So that's why on this step, we tell you to choose your journey. It's like a computer game, right? I don't know what you're going through in life or what you're trying to accomplish, but by knowing which option is a good fit for you, and this is not set in stone. Like you might start out with this, 2 months into it, you might make enough money to quit your job and you switch to this, or you start out with this because maybe you already have industry experience. I don't know, but we allow you to, because we respect your opinion so much, that we help you choose it. And we have a big team behind the scenes. We're not a one employee company. I have the operations manager, the sales manager, the support team, the onboarding person. They help you decide which option is a good fit for you. Does this make sense? We have this thing called endless client structure. So you can get leads online, offline, organic leads, paid leads. The entire BLB is structured this way pretty much. So if you want to generate leads offline, yeah, you can generate leads offline. We have whole strategies on how to do that. Online, you can generate organic leads through online or paid advertising. Paid advertising scares people, but that's one of the best methods out there, honestly, for you to add fuel to the fire and have pretty much unlimited leads come to you. That's why the idea of buying leads from somebody else sounds so archaic to me. I never understood it, but I understand sometimes marketing scares people and they want to go to the other person who claims to have the leads. Do not do that. If that really actually worked, don't you think we would have offered that? That would have skyrocketed enrollments into BLB, but I don't want to promote something that really does not work. I want you to own your own leads. So you become the lead source. We have people who become lead aggregators for other people. They learn how to do this and they sell leads. That's another. There's so many ways to make money. I don't have time to go through all of them. Just want to give you the major points on this. You have online ways, offline ways of lead generation. While we're at it, I want to cover a couple of things. This is important because I see this all the time. People think they're hedging their risks by focusing their time on multiple things, right? So they call themselves, I'm multitasking. You're not multitasking. You're just spending less time and you're not building any depth into what you're looking into. Money making, growing something worthwhile doesn't really work that way. You have 100% attention, you're splitting into 20 things, and that means you have very few attention span on little things. It's very unlikely to build anything substantial. It's the green shiny object syndrome. I used to be like that. I started at some point 5 businesses thinking that, with the simple thinking that seemed logical at the point, if one of them takes off, I'm fine. But poor me didn't notice that one of them will not take off because I'm not paying attention to the one thing that would work. I'm splitting my attention and time and resources. And on top of that, you don't have 100% attention and focus. You probably have a job. It's likely you have a family. You might have kids and grandkids, and you might have a spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, your friend circle. Your attention already is spread out. And on top of that, you're going to spread it out to 20 other things. Spend a lot of time doing Netflixing, YouTubing, and all that. Again, I'm not judging anyone. It's just this is the recipe for failure. The reason we have structured the BLB the way it is, your attention and focus needs to go into one thing, but that one thing needs to have different ways of diversifying your income. That's how multiple streams of income actually work. You focus on one thing, but that one thing gives you the opportunity to focus your attention on. That's what I meant by niching down, right? That over time, you might focus on the product. It could be SBA, or you might focus on the geography, or you might focus on doing online events or offline events. Maybe you're a great speaker. Maybe you're going to do offline events and run events like that. That's partially how I started. I think, the first group on meetup.com on business lending. And I used to go to events, and honestly, the first 4 or 5 of them, no one even showed up. It was like 3 or 4 people, super awkward. But over time, it's gotten more and more famous. The last one I've done, we had, I think, 500 people or something like that, right? So there's so many different ways, but the attention was always focused on this one big thing, solving this big problem. So I'm just going to go through this graph. I think this kind of brings everything that I've talked about so far into this thing. So when you join Business Lending Blueprint, our program has 2 parts. 95% of people will focus on this part, which is making money. This is you. Talks a lot about my art skills. This graph basically talks about the sources of income and how much income you make as you climb the ladder of wealth. So one of the first steps is monetizing everything, every lead. I think a few of you mentioned that, oh yeah, I'm trying to fund deals, but the leads are not good. There is no such a thing. If they don't need funding, that means you don't have other options. We call it ancillary low ticket products that would get them funding ready. We have those options that you could be making $50, $100, $500 by utilizing those partnerships. And even if you're talking to people who might not be ready for funding right away, they need something. Why are they not ready for funding right now? There's a reason for that, and you can be the solution for that, right? It's going to get you, we have people who are making 50 to 75K, up to 100K a year just off of this, like just on super low ticket. This is your credit monitoring, credit security, credit repair, and a few other options, or micro lending options. Someone might need $5,000, $10,000, very small amounts of money that would get them going before they build a business. Once they start building the business and they're generating income, funding options open up, but they need that initial push in the butt so they can just open the business. The second one is the fast short-term income. I'm going to go really fast because I break this down in super detail when you're on Business Lending Blueprint. This is taken straight from the entire training. I give examples what each of these products mean. So a fast short-term income, these are the deals that you can fund from 1 day, like literally 24 hours to 5 days, and you get paid within 48 hours to 1 week, depending on the term. So within 1 week, you can put money in people's account. And this is a very lucrative way. Each one of these can represent making, 20, 30K per month. Then you have the repeat residual income. Many people do not even know that exists in alternative lending industry. So you make repeat income because people in our industry, when you provide funding to a small business, they will need funding, statistically speaking, 3.5 times in one given year. So you make money $4,000, you make $4,000 from that one customer times 3.4 or 5 times from one customer could mean $15,000 if you take care of that customer, and if you make sure that you remind them who you are, and you can help them. It's just one customer. So this is not a transactional industry. We're not selling cable. We're not selling $20 phone packages or anything like. You don't need hundreds of customers. You need a few customers to replace your current income if your goal is to quit your job. And also you have residual income options with different funding options, right? And you have what we call the whales, long-term funding option. We have someone who made $200,000. We have someone who made $3 million from one deal. But these deals are large real estate development deals, and they take time. It can take 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And you can't be basing your entire portfolio on these because you're going to be sitting and waiting all these time. So a combination of those allow you to be on the path, like keep taking steps towards financial liberation by doing the work, right? The second part of is, and again, I'm teaching this to our members who reach certain levels, building wealth. This is what I'm currently doing, investments, meaning that you do this takes you to 40, 50K per month. For most people, hopefully that's more than you need. Even if you bump your standard of living to spending 20, 30K, you should still have access money. Usually when that happens, people go, all right, I guess I need to buy some stocks or buy some real estate. The question is, how much do you understand any one of those options? You shouldn't invest in anything that you don't understand. I'm going to make a bold claim. Everyone thinks that you should put your money in real estate, but how much of that do you really understand? Or is it better to invest money into something that you actually are involved with? That's what I do. So investments, vehicles, you're not buying a property, you are investing in the funding of the small businesses. You're funding with your own money. You're what we call syndication, syndicate with the actual lenders. So there's partial, semi-passive, and full passive investment opportunities within alternative lending industry. Very specialized knowledge. Like you're not going to be able to Google this and find information because this is a private industry. I just wanted to give you the full spectrum, what that means. It might not even make sense at this point. But again, the promise from the beginning of this call for me to kind of pour in what I know so you make a healthy decision of what you want to do. Because listen, before we know it's going to be summer, before you know it's going to be fall, then we're going to start talking about Christmas and New Year's. But that's a very valuable time. You can change your situation in the next 90 days. But you need to be armed with healthy and accurate information for that to make sense. But I want you guys to think about making the decision for the next 5 years, 10 years. Sure, you can solve your immediate money problem, but are you going to be doing this forever? Like, what's your exit plan? Are you going to close the shop down or pass it down to your kids or turn it into a passive income situation? Just so you guys understand, like, we're not teaching anything we haven't done. This is where I am. I work with the lenders and we fund a lot of the deals because I'm from the industry for a decade. This is what I know. I invested in real estate, sold it all because I don't understand real estate as much. I haven't been in real estate for over a decade. Maybe you are. Nothing against it. I'm not saying real estate is bad. What you know is usually good. Okay. If you know a lot about classic cars and you keep buying and swapping them, that's probably a great business idea for you. But for me, I would suck at it because I don't even like cars. I don't understand anything about cars. So that doesn't make the investment vehicle bad. It makes you a bad candidate for that investment vehicle. So just want to share this chart with you. Again, we go into full detail on how to activate each one of these within our program. But I think this gives you a good idea. So guys, with that, I don't want to keep holding you guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad that you benefited from this. If you did join, congratulations. If you didn't, hopefully you're leaving with more information than you started out with. All right, great to see you if you joined the program. If not, I'll see you on future trainings if you ever put them together again. Talk to you later.